All right, back on the Young Turks. Fascinating interviews. That's what we do. And we're going to do that right now with David Bego. He is the president and CEO of EMS. And he is opposed to some of the actions that President Obama is taking with the National Labor Relations Board. David, welcome to the Young Turks.
Oh, thanks for having me on. I appreciate that, Cenk.
All right. Great to have you on. So let's have a fun conversation. What's Obama doing wrong with the NBLR?
NLRB? Well...
My bad. Yes, NLRB. Got misspelled twice here.
I know. A lot of people aren't familiar with it, and that's part of the problem, to be quite honest with you. But, you know, he appointed Craig Becker to the board of the National Labor Relations Board, and Mr. Becker is a longtime Service Employees International union attorney, and has some pretty radical views on how union organizing should be done. And despite the fact that the Senate voted down the president's recommendation, the president appointed Mr. Becker on a recess appointment anyway.
David, let me jump in there. So far, that's fascinating because you said he's a longtime union attorney, and he was appointed to the National Labor Relations Board. Isn't that the most logical thing you've ever heard in your entire life?
Well, not really.
Why not?
Well, the people that are appointed that are supposed to be impartial because the board is designed to make sure that neither side, business nor unions.
How do you find these mythical people who are not either employers or employees? Are they all... I mean, where are they from? Are they from the Bahamas?
Well, Cenk,
what's going on?
It's tough, you know. It really is, and I understand that. But you can find people that are more rational in their thinking and more middle of the road, and will look at both sides of the argument. And,
well, David, let me ask you. Speaking of both sides of the argument, have you ever been opposed to anyone from management being on the National Labor Relations Board?
Actually, there are some people that I probably would be, but they haven't.
But that's theoretical.
Nominated.
You actually haven't been, though.
Well, no, because they haven't nominated anybody like that. Okay. You have to understand something.
So there are people. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut in. I'm going to let you finish.
Please let me finish.
No, I hear you on that. I just want to get clarity on it. You're saying that there are people who are in management on the board, and you don't mind them, but theoretically, somebody could be appointed for management that you wouldn't like, but that hasn't happened yet.
Well, not since I've been monitoring this in the last 5 to 6 years, okay?
Okay.
But you have to understand something with Craig Becker. This guy is openly stated that, you know, he doesn't believe that companies should have any say or any opportunity to talk to their employees about the organizing process. Well, that's pretty one-sided.
Well, now that's your interpretation of what Becker is saying. My guess is that Becker is saying that the union should be allowed to organize without, he would frame it as, without management intimidating the workers. And you know that that has happened in the past, managers intimidating people.
No, Cenk, let's back up. No, he has said that. That is documented, okay, number one. Number two is, I agree with you, and I'm not, let me make this very clear. I'm not anti-union. Have you read my book?
No, I haven't. Okay,
well, it would probably be a good idea. I've managed union plants in the past, okay? And I've done very well working with the union employees, and I have no problem with the rank and file at all. What I have a problem with is when you have people in power that are trying to force unionism on people that aren't interested in it. And in this particular case, that's what's happening. And quite honestly, it has nothing to do with the rank and file. It has nothing to do with whether the people are interested or not. It has everything to do with politics.
All right, David, before we go on, you know, and I when people come on, I like to talk about their books. I have to be honest, your PR folks, I don't think, gave me the name. Is it Devil at My Doorstep?
Yeah, The Devil at My Doorstep.
Okay, all right. So, and who's the devil in that case?
Well, it would be the Service Employees International Union.
Oh, the unions. But you're fair and balanced about that.
And Andy Stern, who used to be the president. And, you know, he stepped down here, in May?
All right, David, do you get that calling the SEIU, one of the largest unions, the devil, doesn't sound balanced?
I think that you have to understand that if you went through what I went through, the devil would be maybe a pretty easy term.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, you're honest about that. Okay, I got you. So that's where you stand on it.
By the way, I
but can
understand
you
you're
see it-
non-union too, right?
No, I am, but I don't really care. To be honest, union's not my thing. And, you know, there's this, like, image out there that progressives are all funded by the union. So I've never seen a nickel from those folks, okay? So...
Well, I just know, I saw you had an interview with Fast Company back last December, and you made a point saying you're non-union, so...
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I happen to be an AFTRA, but this is not a union shop. If
That's
you're
what
asking.
I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. So look, I'm not like, oh wow, unions rock and they're going to solve all the things. But Dave, look at what's happened in this country, right? So it used to be that in the 1950s, a third of the country was in unions. Now only 7% of the country is in unions.
Mm-hmm.
And what's happened? We've had enormous wage stagnation, and it doesn't look like it's helped the workers at all that we've gotten less union representation. When you look at the macro numbers, isn't that what you see?
Well, in some respects you're correct, but in the other respect, we also are at a point in our economy where we're in a severe recession, and a big part of it is because of a lot of the competition now overseas can undercut our American business. And some of it has to do with wages, some with benefits, some, quite honestly, with businesses not managing as well as they should. I mean, there's a lot of things involved, but you just can't look at it and say, hey, it's all one thing that's caused the problem.
Well, on the other hand, you can say, hey, look, Reagan went after the unions, and it worked. They got a lot less unions in the country, and it's...
Well, that's not really what's caused the problem, but I'll be happy to discuss
no. But
that
I'm
with
saying, look, I hear what you're saying. Look, there's a lot of different problems that are a lot of different factors. But the idea was, hey, if we go after the unions, there's less unions, that American trade and manufacturing will flourish because the unions are keeping down the steel mills, et cetera. And that didn't really prove true. I mean, because the manufacturing got decimated, and it turns out it didn't really have anything to do with the unions.
Well, that's really not true. The fact is that a lot of this started before that. You know, back in the 40s and 50s, you know, 35% of the workforce was union employees, and I'm talking about the private sector, okay?
Right.
And today you're talking about the private sector, you're talking about 7%. And
right.
a lot of that, what happened, I don't know if you're familiar with the Taft-Hartley Act,
Mm-hmm.
but that was passed in 1947.
Right.
And prior to that, they had in effect basically card check, what the unions are trying to get back now through the Employee Free Choice Act. Okay? And,
right.
And Congress, in its wisdom, understood that a lot of people were being abused by union intimidation to get people to sign cards to become union.
But David, look, I'm not saying there isn't union abuse. I'm positive that it's happened throughout history. I'm positive it happens to some degree now. But there's also
Jake, it happens to a lot of degree now.
Okay,
I've been through it. Trust me.
Right? No, I understand that. But David, do you understand that the reason the unions existed in the first place is because there was enormous management abuse, and if there is not collective power on the part of the employees, it opens up enormous management abuse again. And part of that abuse, honestly, in the country has been depressed wages. Our wages since 1980 have gone nowhere.
Well,
the top 1% have increased by about 300%, and the rest of us are dead flat.
Well, I have to disagree with you.
Well, those are numbers, though.
No. I'll give you a real-life experience, okay? I'm in the cleaning business. We're a commercial cleaning company, okay? We're a janitorial company. We operate across the nation in 36 states, okay?
Okay.
When I left the company I was with, and if you read my book, you would see and understand some of these things, but when I left the company I was with, back then, people were being paid about $3.35 an hour, okay?
Okay.
For janitorial, okay?
Okay.
Today, it's 3 or 4 times that. So, and I know because we pay it every day. So your argument doesn't really hold water. Things have progressed for everybody, okay? And
No. But David, no. And let me tell you, but David Bego is the author of The Devil at My Doorstep. But David, that doesn't make any sense. I gave you macro numbers.
Well, but you're not looking at...
Hold on now.
Jake, wait a minute.
You gave me
You've got to look at real life.
No, you gave me anecdotal evidence. Now let me give you micro numbers too to finish it up, okay? So when you look at the different states in the country, a typical union member is likely to earn 15% more per hour and 19% likelihood of having employer-provided health insurance and 24% more likely to have employer-sponsored retirement plans. Those are real numbers. It's not like, hey, you know, one company did well, another one didn't.
Hold on a minute. Where do you get those numbers at?
I'm getting it from the current population survey.
Okay.
It's from the Center for Economic and Policy
union-backed
Research.
survey?
No, it's the Center for Economic and Policy Research.
Okay. Well, let me tell you, when I fought the SEIU, okay, they said the same things about my company. And they plastered that all over the cities that we do business in. And the truth, Cenk, is that my people made more money and had access to the same or better benefits than the SEIU people.
Now, David, I'm not even going to dispute that because I don't know what your company's about. And if you do that, that's fantastic, okay? But your company isn't the whole country. And if you do it voluntarily, great. But I'm showing you numbers that show you that the other companies do not voluntarily do it.
But you're looking at averages, and there's a lot of people, a lot of companies that do very well. And it's just like unions. There's unions that aren't as professional as they should be, and there's companies that aren't as professional as they should be.
But David, don't you see we have to look at the averages? That when you look at the overall, hey, what should we do? Should we have more unions, less unions, et cetera, et cetera? You look at the numbers and you see, well, wow, people with unions, they get paid more, they get better benefits. The proof's in the pudding.
And they lose more jobs. Let me give you an example.
But wait a minute. Unions have gone down and we continue to have more a loss of jobs, so that's also in the numbers.
No, let me give you an example. Okay? Several years ago, we cleaned a large manufacturing company that provided parts to the automotive industry, okay? And our people were all non-union. We cleaned the plants. And this particular company went to the United Auto Workers and said, look, we can't compete anymore. The auto companies are going to other suppliers. We need you to sit down with us and work out some type of program where we can be more competitive. And, you know, I had no input into this, okay? But the United Auto Workers flatly said, no, we're not going to do that.
Again. No.
And this company, and I'm not going to name names or anything because I don't get into that, said, look, we want to work this. We want to stay here. We don't want people in this Indiana town to lose jobs. And the United Auto Workers said, no. And the company said, okay, look, we're going to move in this overseas.
Okay, David, look, two things before we run out of time.
Let me finish. And this happened, and not only did all the people, the union workers, the rank and file, without any input from them, lose their jobs, but all the people I had employed there, which was about 30 full-time people, lost their jobs.
All right, David, just real quick, let me address that and then ask you a follow-up question. Look, is there a union who might have screwed up somewhere? I don't know about your particular story, and you say some of the sources are confidential, et cetera, so I don't know how to challenge it or agree with it, et cetera, but I could believe that, sure.
Cenk,
and are there hold on, let me finish.
I won't lie to you, okay?
Okay, all right. And is there non-union places that work well? Of course, we work well here. There's no boogeyman. There's, it always has to be union, it always has to be non-union, but I'm giving you aggregate numbers here, right? And so finally, in the minute that we have left, look, what do you want to happen? I mean, are you saying that, so what should we do? Should we depress our wages so much that we're competitive with China so they won't go to China?
Well, but see, you're trying to make this a wage issue, and this is not a wage issue.
It is for the people who work?
No. You don't understand. This is a forced unionism issue. There are people who don't want to be unionized, and the government, this administration, with the help of Craig Becker, is trying to make that happen. I have to tell you, my jobs are all entry-level jobs. And in the 6 years that I went through the battle with the SEIU, I never, ever had one employee send me a letter, a voicemail, call me, anything, and ask me to join the union. And let me tell you, let me say two other things.
We're out of time. Unfortunately, we're totally out of time. I know you run an awesome company, we run an awesome company, but the numbers say unions get better wages for their people.
Well,
all right,
that's not the argument.
David Bego, I'm sorry, we're totally out of time.
I'm going to be in L.A. in October. Would you like to meet?
Oh, all right, we'll see. All right, Young Turks.